What this means for you personally and for the country, my colleague Chris Eakin may be able.
Well, very good evening from Westminster. Yes, everybody's digesting precisely what it all means. The experts going over the numbers tonight for what was George Osborne's fourth budget. And one area that is likely to continue being a source of discussion is international aid. Now, today, the Chancellor reiterated the government's policy of using 0.7% of national income for international development. He did, however, say that the government would ensure that not a penny more was spent on aid, a nod perhaps to those backbenchers who had wanted the aid budget to actually be cut. Now, we'll be speaking to Oxfam here in just a moment, but first of all, this is what the Chancellor had to say.
We will also deliver in this coming year on this nation's long-standing commitment to the world's poorest to spend 0.7% of our national income on international development. And we should all take pride, as I do, in this historic achievement for our country.
Well, one of the upbeat moments which the Chancellor was able to talk about during his statement at 12:30 today. I am joined now by Oxfam, by Ben Phillips, the campaigns director for the charity. It was a good moment from your point of view as well?
This is really important. Britain today met its aid pledge. What that means is 16 million kids who would have been on the street are going to go to school. It's going to mean mums that would have died in childbirth are going to survive. It's going to mean kids that would have been drinking dirty water won't have to. British people did that today. All those people that joined the IF campaign, from all the charities, from all the faith groups, they've made something happen. They've saved lives today.
And you don't mind the fact that it's not, I mean, the 0.7, of course, is an international target, it's an international figure, but you don't mind that it's not a penny more than that.
Well, this is the moment when Britain met its aid pledge, and for that we are incredibly grateful, and we're also incredibly proud of the British people. They raised a record amount for Red Nose Day over the weekend, and now Britain is for the first time meeting its aid commitment that's going to save and change millions of lives. It's a really important moment.
It is controversial too, though, the way international aid has been ring-fenced. I mean, for example, aid going to countries like India, where there's a great deal of poverty, but there's also a great deal of wealth as well. So you have that controversy with which you have to win over the British public.
Well, aid is less than a penny in the pound, and when people understand that for less than a penny in a pound you can save and change so many lives. You know, 12 million kids used to die every year. That's now down to 7 million. So there's 5 million kids who won't die this year because of aid. When people hear those figures and when they hear that it's just a penny in a pound, they think, my God, what a fantastic investment.
You, of course, look at a budget from a domestic perspective as well, not just an international one. What do you think of the rest of the measures?
We're really worried about people in poverty in the UK. We've seen the number of people using food banks double, and we expect it to double again this year. Now, that's not because too much money is going to starving people in foreign countries. It's because people at the top are getting away with not paying their tax. And so we want to see tougher action to ensure that companies pay their fair share of their tax in Britain. We also want to ensure that companies pay a fair share of tax when they're working in Africa too.
Well, George Osborne touched on, I mean, he didn't name the companies, we all know them, the likes of Google and Amazon and Starbucks. There wasn't much detail on what would happen, but he did talk about shaming those not naming them, but shaming companies that avoid tax.
What the government says they want to do is the right thing, which is to stop tax dodging. But they've got to put more action into it. They've got to stop a situation where someone can pretend that when I buy a book in Britain that I really bought it in Luxembourg, or that when I look up online in Britain I really did so in Ireland, or that when a company makes money in Zambia they pretend that they made it in Switzerland. Britain has to stop that, and the Chancellor has to stop that.
But companies avoiding tax are not the only reason why people are at food banks. So do you welcome the likes of measures, for example, helping small companies with relief on national insurance? Is that something which warms your heart?
Anything which can increase employment, anything which can decrease the burden on the poorest people is a good thing. But what we've also seen is measures that will mean cuts in benefit for the teachers that look after our kids, for the nurses that take care of us when we're sick, for the soldiers that risk their lives for us. These people are seeing cuts in their benefits, and we think that's not fair, and that instead you should start at the top.
Okay, well, Ben, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Ben Phillips there from Oxfam. We'll be back with much more reaction from Westminster. Perhaps you can hear Big Ben chiming behind me as everybody